Create sponsorship guidelines with the board. This is really helpful. And I've seen this really turn things around with some clients that I've worked with. Because think about it. If you go to the board with the help of your advocate, if you're able to identify an advocate, and say, look, I understand that there might be a little fear in bringing sponsors in, or maybe you had a bad experience with a previous sponsor. That shouldn't prevent you from trying this again, right? Fall off the bike, we got to try it again. However, you can work with the board to create sponsorship guidelines. So what does that look like? Some examples of things you would put in your sponsorship guidelines would be, first of all, your mission, vision, and values. I always start with that. Second, what are your goals for sponsorship? So and remember, this is an internal document. This isn't going to be seen on the outside. So you can get as specific as you want. If your goal with sponsorship is to help bring in $200,000 to help fund your XYZ programs, or to get $25,000 in general operating money if you're a nonprofit, lots of examples, you can put that as a goal in your sponsorship guidelines. But the meat of the guideline comes after that next section, which would be, what are the types of organizations that you have an interest in attracting? As well as, what are the types of organizations that you don't want to sponsor? Okay. So common lists of nonprofits and associations that look at organizations they're not comfortable with would be more by industry. So usually I'll hear things like tobacco or weapons or fossil fuels, depending, if that's something sensitive to the organization. You know what's sensitive to your organization, right? So that's where you start. So it might be easiest to start with, here are the types of companies we're not going to solicit for sponsorship. I actually suggest you start there because that's going to make the board feel better, right? They're going to feel more at ease. It's kind of like a little bit of a therapy session, right? If you're all sitting together in a brainstorming session thinking about, okay, these are the types of organizations we're not going to go after because they conflict with our mission, vision, and values. Okay, we're all on the same page. It's documented. We all have the same document that we can refer to. So if you've got board members that are willing to do some sponsorship solicitation or be a part of the sponsorship solicitation process with you, they know expectations as to who you're not going to outreach. You know those same things. It really, really can help cut out any of the initial anxiety because they've had their word as to what it is they don't feel comfortable coming into an organization, right? So that's a great place to start. Start there. And, this is with the help of your advocate. You can even start with a brainstorming exercise in creating your guidelines. Who do we not want to solicit for sponsorship? And again, great places to start are kind of some of the ones that I talked about, but there are going to be very specific areas depending on your organization, right? It's just going to vary.